We've all been there. You're working on a beautiful piece of wood, maybe a door frame, a piece of furniture, or some new trim. You find a little nail hole, a small gouge, or a tiny gap you need to fill. So, you reach for that tub of store-bought wood filler. It seems simple enough. You scoop some out, press it into the hole, smooth it over, and let it dry. But then, a few months later, you notice something wrong. That perfect invisible repair is now a cracked, ugly blemish that stands out like a sore thumb. It's frustrating, and it makes your hard work look sloppy. The problem is that these fillers often let us down. They promise a quick fix, but they rarely deliver a lasting one. After a while, you might see a hairline crack, forming around the edge of the patch. Sometimes, the filler shrinks as it dries, leaving a divot that you have to fill all over again. In the worst cases, especially on projects that live outside, the whole chunk of filler can just pop right out, leaving you with the same hole you started with, only now, it's more noticeable. It's a cycle of repairing the repair, and that's not making it right. You spend your hard-earned money on these products, expecting them to work. You follow the directions on the container perfectly, you sand it smooth and apply your paint or stain, and for a little while, everything looks great. But these fillers are often a different material from the wood itself. They don't behave the same way, they don't have the same character. So when the environment changes, when the temperature and humidity go up and down, the filler and the wood start fighting each other. And guess what? The wood always wins. This isn't your fault. You bought a product that was supposed to do a job, but I'm here to tell you there's a better way. It's a method the pros have been using for years. It's stronger, it looks better, and it will save you money in the long run. It's time to stop wasting your time and money on temporary fixes that are doomed to fail. We're going to learn how to create a repair that becomes part of the wood, not just a patch on top of it. Let's get it right the first time, so you don't have to do it again. To understand why those store-bought fillers crack and pop out, you have to understand the nature of wood itself. Wood is a natural material. It was once a living, breathing tree, and even after it's been cut, milled, and dried, it still reacts to the world around it. Think of a piece of wood, like a sponge. When the air is humid, the wood absorbs moisture and swells up, getting slightly bigger. When the air is dry, like in the winter when the heat is on, it releases that moisture and shrinks. This is a constant natural cycle of expansion and contraction. It's the reason doors stick in the summer and have gaps in the winter. Now think about that little tub of putty you bought at the hardware store. Most of these fillers are made from materials like vinyl, epoxy, or gypsum mixed with wood fibers. They are designed to dry hard and stay put. They don't have the ability to swell and shrink along with the wood, so when the wood expands with summer humidity, it squeezes the inflexible filler. Then, when the wood shrinks in the winter, it pulls away from the filler, creating tiny gaps. This constant pushing and pulling is what causes the cracks to form around the edges of your repair. This movement happens across the grain of the wood, not so much along its length. That's why a board gets wider in the summer, but not noticeably longer. Store-bought fillers simply can't keep up with this sideways dance. They are rigid and brittle. They are like a rock in the middle of a river. The water has to flow around it. Over time, the bond between the filler and the wood breaks down. The filler might be strong on its own, but its connection to the moving wood is weak. That's why, eventually, the patch fails. This is especially true for any wood that is outdoors. A deck, a porch railing, or exterior trim faces extreme changes in temperature and moisture from sun, rain, and snow. The wood is constantly moving, swelling with every rainstorm and shrinking under the hot sun. A standard inflexible wood filler doesn't stand a chance in these conditions. It will fail, and it will fail quickly. To make a repair that lasts, you need a filler that can move with the wood. You need a filler that is made from the wood. So, what's the solution? It's simple, it's brilliant, and you probably already have everything you need to do it. The professional's secret is to make your own wood filler using two basic ingredients, sawdust and wood glue. That's it. This isn't some new age trick. It's a time-tested technique that carpenters and cabinet makers have been using for generations to create strong, seamless repairs. The logic behind it is powerful. You are filling a hole in the wood with the wood itself, just in a different form. It's the ultimate way to make a patch that truly belongs. The magic of this method comes from the combination of the two components. The sawdust provides the body and, most importantly, the color and grain of the wood you are repairing. When you use sawdust from the exact same board you're working on, you are guaranteeing a perfect match. The wood glue acts as the binder, but not just any glue. A good quality wood glue, like a PVA glue, is designed to be incredibly strong but also has a slight bit of flexibility once it cures. This little bit of give is exactly what you need. When you mix the sawdust and glue together, you create a paste that has the best qualities of both. The filler will dry to be as strong as the wood around it, because it's bonded with a powerful adhesive designed specifically for wood, but it will also have enough flexibility to move with the natural expansion and contraction of the wood. It won't crack under pressure or pull away when the wood shrinks. It becomes an integral part of the board, not just a foreign material stuck in a hole. This creates a bond that is much stronger than what you get from a pre-mixed putty. Best of all, this method is perfect for DIYers. It doesn't require expensive tools or special skills. It's about being resourceful and smart. Instead of throwing away the sawdust you create when cutting or sanding, you can collect it and turn it into a valuable material for making your project perfect. It's a simple shift in thinking that will elevate the quality of your work from amateur to professional. Stop buying fixes in a can and start making repairs that are built to last, using the very materials you're working with. Ready to make a repair that will actually last? Let's walk through the process step by step. Honestly, it's easier than you think. First, you need to collect your sawdust. This is the most important step for getting a good color match. The best source is from the same piece of wood you're trying to repair. When you're sanding your project, just collect the fine dust. A bag on your orbital sander is perfect for this. If you don't have that, you can sand a piece of scrap from the same board over a piece of paper. You want fine, flour-like dust, not big chips from a saw blade. Next, it's time to mix your filler. Find a small disposable surface to work on, like a piece of cardboard or a plastic lid. Squeeze out a small amount of good quality wood glue. Yellow carpenter's glue is perfect for this. Now, start adding your collected sawdust to the glue. Don't dump it all in at once. Add a little bit at a time and mix it thoroughly with a putty knife or a small stick. You are aiming for a thick paste consistency, something like peanut butter. If it's too runny, add more sawdust. If it gets too thick and crumbly, add another drop of glue. Once your filler is mixed to the right consistency, it's time for the application. Use your putty knife to press the mixture firmly into the nail hole, crack, or gouge. The key here is to overfill it slightly. The mixture will shrink a tiny bit as the glue dries, so you want the patch to be sitting just proud of the surface. Don't worry about making it perfectly smooth right now, just focus on making sure the hole is completely filled. Make sure you press it in deep to eliminate any air pockets, which can weaken the repair. Now, you have to be patient and let it cure. The drying time will depend on the size and depth of your repair, as well as the humidity in your workshop. For small holes, a few hours might be enough, but for deeper fills, it's best to let it dry overnight, or even for 24 hours to be safe. You want it to be rock solid. Once it's fully cured, take your sandpaper, starting with a medium grit like 120, and sand the patch down until it is perfectly flush and smooth with the surrounding wood. Then you can finish with a finer grit, and you're ready for stain or paint. Let's talk about why this simple glue and sawdust mixture is so much better than the stuff you buy in a can. The first and biggest advantage is the color match. When you use sawdust from the exact wood you are working on, the filler will have the same natural color and tone. This is huge when you plan to use a stain. Store-bought fillers often claim to be stainable, but they rarely absorb stain the same way as real wood. This leaves you with a patch that is either too light or too dark, making the repair obvious. With your homemade filler, the sawdust is real wood, so it will accept the stain much more naturally, blending in seamlessly. The second major benefit is strength and flexibility. As we've discussed, wood glue is designed to create a bond that is often stronger than the wood itself. When you mix it with sawdust, you're not just plugging a hole, you're creating a solid, structural patch that is fused to the surrounding wood fibers. This repair is also more flexible. Because the glue retains a slight bit of elasticity, it can move with the wood as it expands and contracts. This makes it far less likely to crack or pop out over time, especially in projects that are exposed to changing weather conditions outdoors. Then there's the cost savings. A good-sized tub of wood filler can be expensive, and if you work with different types of wood, you might be tempted to buy multiple shades to try and get a match. Wood glue, on the other hand, is a staple in any workshop, and sawdust is literally free. It's a byproduct of your work. By making your own filler, you are using materials you already have. It's not about being cheap. It's about being smart and resourceful. Every dollar you save on consumables is a dollar you can put toward better tools or higher quality wood for your next project. Finally, there's the satisfaction of the craft. Taking the time to create your own filler is part of what separates basic DIY from true craftsmanship. It shows a deeper understanding of your materials and a commitment to quality. It's a small detail, but it's these small details that add up to a beautiful, long-lasting project you can be proud of. It's about working with the wood, not against it. This simple technique will improve the look and longevity of your work, and it will make you a better woodworker in the process. This wood glue and sawdust method is fantastic, but it's not a magic bullet for every single problem. A good craftsperson knows not just how to use a technique, but also when to use it. This filler is perfect for cosmetic issues, nail holes, small cracks, minor gouges, and small gaps between joints. These are situations where you need to fix a surface imperfection. The filler will look great and hold up beautifully in these cases. It's the ideal solution for making your project look flawless before you apply a finish. However, it is crucial to understand that this method is not for structural repairs. If you have a deep, wide gap, a split in a table leg that affects its strength, or a broken joint, you can't just pack it with glue and sawdust and hope for the best. That's like putting a bandage on a broken bone. For large structural gaps, you should always try to cut and fit a solid piece of wood, a Dutchman patch, to fill the void. This provides the strength needed to make the piece whole and functional again. The glue and sawdust filler is for looks, not for holding things together. Another critical time to avoid this method is when you are dealing with wood rot. Rot is a fungus that eats away at the wood fibers, making them soft and spongy. Trying to fill a rotted area with your homemade filler is a waste of time. The rot will continue to spread underneath the patch, and the filler won't have anything solid to bond to. The only way to fix rot is to remove it completely. You have to dig out all of the soft, decayed wood until you get back to solid, healthy fibers. Only then can you decide on the right repair, which might involve a wood hardener and an epoxy-based filler designed for these situations. So, be smart about it. Assess the problem before you jump to the solution. Is the hole small and cosmetic? Go for the glue and sawdust. Is the gap wide, or does it affect the strength of the piece? You need a different approach. Is the wood soft and crumbling? You're dealing with rot and need to remove it first. Knowing the limits of any technique is just as important as knowing its benefits. Using the right fix for the right problem is the hallmark of someone who takes pride in their work and wants to make it right. It's about building things that don't just look good today, but will stay strong and beautiful for years to come.